On 2nd of June in Riyadh, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the United Nations will convene a pledging conference for Yemen. UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency, is convinced that the international community will continue showing solidarity with those Yemeni displaced families and those refugees. It's not the time to abandon Yemen. They cannot face the coronavirus on their own. They cannot face 5 years of conflict on their own. We, the humanitarian community, are ready to help, but we need support, financial support from the international community. The world will never be safe, including from coronavirus, if we abandon Yemeni to their fate now. More than 280,000 refugees, mainly from Somalia, have found refuge in Yemen. The UN Refugee Agency also protects and assists some of the most vulnerable of the Yemeni families who have fled 5 years of the conflict. We are taking care of 3.6 million Yemeni who had their house destroyed and now live in very impoverished neighborhood of Aden and Sana'a alongside the refugees. Some of those Yemeni displaced families are also living in overcrowded hosting sites nearby urban centers in very dire conditions where adequate access to water is almost impossible, where self-isolation or physical distances is also almost impossible, and where meeting their daily needs is really a struggle for both the refugee and the internally displaced families. Both refugees and Yemeni families displaced by the conflict are seen by the population as potential vector of the COVID-19. And therefore, UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency, has already received a report of discrimination and harassment. They are the first one to lose their job because of the slowing down of the economy. They are the first one being denied access to medical care because they are seen as potentially bringing the coronavirus into the Yemeni communities. UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency, has the tools and the means to do more for both refugees and internally displaced families. We could do more hygiene kits distribution. We could provide more cash for the families who are losing their livelihood or are restricted in their movement for them to survive and continue buying food or medicine for their families. Unfortunately, we have not received even 1/3 of the funding that is required to help the 280,000 refugees and some of the 3.6 million Yemeni families displaced by the conflict. If we were to receive something like 35 million, we will be able to assist more than 70,000 displaced families, both refugees but Yemeni families displaced by the conflict, with essential cash, which during COVID will allow them to survive the next 2 or 3 months, to limit their movement, to isolate themselves if a member of the family gets sick, to overcome the loss of jobs, and to be able to buy some food and medicine, which will be extremely critical during this coming period facing the COVID-19.